Hey there guys, welcome back to another deck profile with yours truly, Paul Reisman. Today we are taking a look at the other mermaid I play. Let's dig right in.
This session brought to you by Odyssey Games for pre-orders and sealed product, CCG Prime for tons of singles and supplies, Cardo Doko for international rulers looking for products, and FowlLibrary.com for articles and wonderful deck lists, as well as our guest lecturer members King Pearlshine, Vite Ramen, Mognite, and Darren Noblock. Class is in session.
Alright guys, so you know that I've played Vier in the past, and there's been something very similar to this list, but as of Judgment of the Rogue Planet, Vier has gotten some new tools. Of course, she's affected by the errata. This no longer says Partner 2 Sun Children. This is only Partner 1 Sun Child, so we only get His Royal Highness Lord Snakeboy the Wise. And so what we do have, though, are some new ways of conceiving this deck. There's actually a card from before this too that I want to talk about, and that is Aspiring Diva. This is pretty much part and parcel everything that Vier wanted in some sort of like Percival effect. So instead of playing Percival, now you can just play Aspiring Diva, and you know, she even vanishes to produce Will for chance, which is really nice. But that's not the card I'm talking about. The card I'm talking about is Song of Eternal Serenity. This is one of the new worlds that was released in Judgment of the Rogue Planet here at the end of Hero Cluster. Whenever you play a music chant, when your instance of melody is 2 or more, you get a 4/4 water human token. That is pretty great. And nowhere on there does it say once per turn. So if you keep doing your storm combo, you just continue to get more tokens. And yes, if you have multiples of these on the field, you do get more instances of tokens. By the way, that's not the most broken effect on this card. What is the most broken effect is being able to search out a music chant by removing a chant in your graveyard from the game. And then you get to search out a music chant from your deck that isn't the same name as anything that's been removed in your RFG if it's a music chant. So if I remove Einsatz, I cannot search for Einsatz. If I remove Einsatz first and then later on in the game I remove Sonic Siren, now I cannot look for Einsatz or Sonic Siren. These do say like you cannot look for anything that's been RFG'd from this card, and of course it has that nice little mastery rule wherein if for some reason your Vier has instances of melody, at least one instance of melody, you can just play the concert for free, which is really nice. And because it's an addition, doesn't get summoning sickness, you get to use this stuff right away. So this card is really, really, really solid for the deck. In addition to that, we do get a little bit of interaction from Cascade of Water Solarisire. This is really helpful, especially now that we are removing cards from our graveyard with the Concert Hall. You can use Cascade of Water Solarisire's Solarization effect to put those cards back in the deck. So if for some reason you are in a situation that you have to remove one of your 2 contracts, which by the way, this is the contract, you flip over into Gleipnir Chronogear. If one of these gets removed and you really need to be able to find another one, there is a world in which you attempt to search by removing this from the graveyard, and then while that effect is still on the chase, you just tuck it with the Cascade, and then you are able to just search this card right out of the deck. Very, very fun. Really enjoyed this. I think I was able to actually get that play off at locals once, and that was really, really funny. So it's really great. This is the Summoning the Serpent of Rain, probably your most important music chant, because it is a contract. You draw X cards, where X is your melody, and then you put 2 back on the top of your deck. If you have 3 stones, you can contract. It does not require you to have melody 3. It just says you need to have 3 stones. So when you do flip it over, you do get +4/+4 for each instance of melody that you have, and you can stack melody on top of this. It has natural flying, which is really helpful, especially if your opponent is somehow not able to get rid of this just as it is a 7/7. But if you do have 5 instances of melody or more, not only do your stats go up, you also get Swiftness, Drain, Eternal, and Barrier. And then when you enter, you gain control of a non-Magic Stone, non-J-Ruler entity your opponent controls, as long as this card is in the field. Absolutely devastating card. This is your main win condition. This is how you are ending the game. If this doesn't work out, like any combo deck, you're kind of up a creek, unfortunately, instead of in the ocean. something metaphor. Anyway, let's go into the main deck here and kind of get a sense of how are we getting this contract online. And so first of all, we're playing 4 Aspiring Diva. This is a really good mana dork for the deck. You look at the top 3 for a chant. It does not require it to be a music chant, it's just a chant. It's a Percival for that, and then you can just put those 3 on the bottom of the deck after choosing to put 1 in hand. Of course, there's this really nice banish effect where you can banish it to produce blue that is only usable for chants. Again, not just for music chants. So this card has been seeing a lot of play outside of this particular deck, but this is a really good way of saying, I'm going to put mana into my Aspiring Diva so that, I can, charge it up as a battery a little bit and then look for the cards that I need to go off. So in my head, this card in the Storm version, the combo version, is an automatic 4 of. So we're playing 4 Aspiring Diva. We're also playing 4 Age of Rain. This is, for me, one of the cards that makes the combo deck possible. It now turns all of your chants into music additions, which means in your deck, in your hand, in your RFG, in your graveyard, on the chase, everywhere, it is a music chant, which means that everything that you play is now a music chant. Of course, if you steal a resonator from your opponent, if you control it but do not own it, you gain that thing gains +4/+4, and then it just draws you a card. I think that's a really good thing to put on a combo card. This isn't just something you slam. This is something that if you see it on turn 1 or 2, you're doing a great job, and you cycle with it, which is really nice. We're playing 2 Einsatz. I'm debating on whether or not I need to play more of this card, but I've found that 2 is pretty good, especially now that we don't have some of our other combo pieces. Things like Melfi no longer exist. So I think Einsatz definitely still has a place in the deck. It came out as part of that, as part of the general support for when this deck came out. So to me, Einsatz wasn't always an automatic include, but it kind of is now. On top of that, we're also playing 3 Loki Enters the Game of Gods. Arguably, debatably, you could be playing 4 of this. However, in the past, I've found that if you don't have Age of Rain online, this card just feels really bad. So it's just, for me, and what I'm trying to do, it's produce 1 will of any attribute, draw a card. Of course, you can just give a J Resonator -2000 attack until end of turn and then draw a card. That's kind of cute, especially if you want to do that on top of an Electro. That's adorable. Suddenly you're not doing any damage to me. And you have to attack. Very fun. Of course, you don't get the Resonance Trickery, but that's totally fine. You're doing this as a combo piece. And of course, with Age of Rain, it does have music, so keep that in mind. It is an extension piece. Sonic Siren, this is going to recover 1 of your stones. I think this is one of the more helpful cards that the deck has access to. In addition to Einsatz, this just says I get to play this for free. There's really funny and funky things you can do with cards like Aspiring Diva or even your Child of Rain. You can play Sonic Siren off of the will they produce and then recover a stone that you have tapped already, so you effectively just get a stone back. This card's cute. I play 3 of it because now I have this fancy little concert hall that can get me any music chant that I want, anytime that I want. So I can afford to play fewer music chants in general. I play 3 Setting the Stage for Providence. Again, I can search this if I have Age of Rain, but also this is probably the most important card in the deck for the combo variant. This says you cannot interact with my chase, don't even try, it will not work, your card will fizzle. So that's a really good way to just say to your opponent, you don't get to play the game anymore, I'm just going to slam into you and you cannot interact with my chase in any way. Plus it cantrips and draws you an extra card. And then, of course, Age of Rain makes it a music chant, so it counts toward your melody, which is absolutely broken. I'm playing 2 copies of Dissonance of Rain. This is a little bit of a silence effect, which is really nice, but more often than not, I use it for that remnant ability at the very bottom here. Target water chant in your graveyard gains remnant till end of turn. So this is really helpful for when you want to play things like you're setting the stage or even your contract from the graveyard. That's really helpful for that. And plus then after this leaves the chase and goes into the field, it doesn't get removed, which is really helpful. But really it's there to just say your opponent doesn't have as many options. It's also a really good way of preventing your opponent from interacting with you in some ways. If you know their deck well enough and you don't have setting the stage, this is another way to freeze them for the turn. I play 2 Melody of Rain. This card is really solid. It tucks things back into the deck at Melody 4. I play at least 1 or 2 copies of this. 2 in this particular list. I like it at 2. Very, very solid. One Last Movement, another card that we got from Crimson Moon Battleground. It is a music chant, but you do not have to pay into it for it to be on the field. So usually what I do for Last Movement is I search it, and if I need to get over the hump a little bit, I just cast this where X is 0, and then I put a music chant on the chase. Melody goes up 1 counter. That's usually what I do with Last Movement. Outside of that, I really don't like this card when you have to put cards into it to play the effect. It feels real bad. It can be used defensively if you have like a lot of will to pump into it, but I just don't. I just play it as like, put it on the chase, there you go. Very few applications for me outside of that. Force, Reign of Serpents. This thing is insane. It is Dolly, quick cast. Put 4 +1/+1 counters on it for each instance of Melody. So if you have 5 instances of Melody, it is a 1 cost 20/20 with quick cast. You can remove 4 of those 1/1 counters to either draw out a card, return a resonator to its owner's hand, or produce a blue. This is really helpful for, again, more combo extension. If you need to dirtle a little bit, the bounce effect is really nice, or if you just need more cards, this is a really good way to help you reestablish. I think this card is an automatic 4 of in the list. I'm playing 3 of the Concert. I was finding at 4 that I was getting this way too often, and there were times in which I said, yeah, this is a really good card. If only I had more chance in my hand to actually get my combos off, maybe this would be even better. So I went down to 3 copies. This card is just a little iffy for me. You want to see your other chance and your other combo pieces, so you definitely don't want this thing at 4 all the time, but you also want to see this card. So I'm back and forth between whether 3 or 4 is the right number. 3 seemed to be fine. I was still kind of able to get things off regardless of this card. It is a really powerful piece to have in your hand. It's a really good extension piece, but oftentimes I found Age of Rain to be fundamentally more important than the Concert Hall, at least in this version. So that's why I'm playing 3. If that seems a little odd to you, try it at 4 and let me know if you have different results down in the comments down below. It just felt way too clunky at 4, so I put it down to 3. I played 2 of the Contract, as we said before, and we read Gleipnir a little bit earlier. 3 Cascade of Water Solar Sire. This hits everything except for Resonators. That was very relevant for me because the new Lumia Deer exists, and so I slotted in 3 Fairer spells as well. I think this card is just really solid for that particular reason. Of course, you can't interact with things like Persephone, but right now I'm not seeing a lot of Persephone at my locals, and so Fairer spell seems to be the better option for me right now. This is a really good way of saying no to things that have quick cast, including Resonators, so this is really helpful. And then last but not least is a Horn of the Sacred Beast. Just to recycle it all, just to make it all happen again. Interact with my opponent if I really need to, but it's really there just so that I can be shuffling my entire deck back in and trying again if I absolutely have to. This Magic Stone deck is 4 Wind Moon, 4 Deepwood, and then 2 of the Misty Wind Magic Stone. I absolutely hate the countdown stones, but I wanted perfect mana, so here we are. That being said, this is not the only way to run the deck. I'm going to flash this one on screen for y'all real quick. This one was inspired by Ryan Lilly, who sent me a list of his own variation of this, and I felt inspired to do something a little bit more mid-rangey with his particular version. In this, he's maxing out on the Concert Hall. This is one of the main ways that you just make a board presence, and you can buy things back as you go into the mid to late game with Child of Death instead of Child of Rain. However, I'm also playing some Feeth Sings. I'm playing Triton. If you don't know what this card is, man, this card is very funny because you can just sacrifice it to Paradise Lost or even to Adam Brawley. We're playing this guy again. There's a lot of really cute, fun things that you can do in this. We're playing Little Maria as well to be able to search things that I want from my deck. So if I take control of something, I can search out my Paradise Lost and then sack that thing immediately and look for any other card that I want. There's just nice little strings of combos in here alongside things like Neverend and, of course, Magic Stone Research Institute to make my tokens absurd. And then we're playing a Diversity Stone list alongside Muse Staring at and Cascade for some other fun stuff. Let me know what y'all think about this deck too. This one I haven't tested quite so much, but I did think it was really cool and I wanted to show it off to you. Shoutouts to Ryan Lilly once again for his initial idea. All that being said, guys, let me know what you think of either of these decks down in the comment section down below. Are you excited that Vier has a little bit more potential now that she has a few more tools as of Judgment of the Rogue Planet? Are there things that, you know, is she a ruler you're just still not going to touch because she's too combo heavy for Force of Will? Y'all let me know. She's a mermaid, that's the only reason I'm running her, and I actually found that she was very fun to play. A real breath of fresh air at the end of the day. Anyway guys, this has been Paul. Hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, hit the like button if you liked the video, and give us a comment down below in the comment section. And until next time, this has been Paul. Class is dismissed.